Let's begin with a secret that dismantles everything you've been conditioned to believe about female attraction. The polite gestures, the logical arguments, the relentless accommodation. You've been told these are the keys to a woman's heart. This is a lie, a comfortable fiction designed to keep men predictable and harmless. The biological truth is that her desire for you is not earned through your compliance. It is triggered by your resilience. Every conversation, every shared glance, every seemingly innocent question is an unspoken audition. She isn't testing your knowledge, your kindness, or your wallet. She is testing your frame. Your frame is your reality, your core principles, your emotional center of gravity, the unwavering world you operate from. She is subconsciously probing its integrity, pushing against its walls to see if it will bend to hers. This isn't a conscious choice she makes. It's a deep survival protocol, an ancient program running in her DNA to find a man whose reality is strong enough to weather a storm. Pass her test, and a primal switch is flipped.
Désir ignite.
Fail, and you don't just lose her interest. You cease to exist in her romantic universe. You become invisible. This isn't a social game, it's a biological mandate. The reason you consistently fail her tests is simple, yet profound. You are only participating in one of the two conversations that are happening. You think you're in a dialogue, but you are actually in a duplex transmission, and you've been deaf to the most important frequency. The first conversation is the one you recognize. It is the logical, surface-level channel. It consists of words, facts, questions, and plans. It is the civilized, socially conditioned layer of interaction. Men are trained from birth to operate exclusively on this channel. We are taught to be problem solvers, to listen to the words spoken, and to provide a logical, agreeable solution. When she speaks, you hear the words and your mind immediately shifts into a mode of analysis and accommodation, seeking the right answer that will please her. But beneath this, a second, far more powerful conversation is taking place. This is the biological, emotional channel. It is not communicated through words, but through subcommunication. Your tonality, your eye contact, your posture, the speed of your response, your emotional state. This channel doesn't care about your logic, it cares about your strength. Her tests are not verbal puzzles for you to solve. They are probes, carefully calibrated signals sent directly into this second channel. Her words are merely the delivery system for the real question. When she says, "We should hang out sometime," the logical channel hears a vague suggestion. The biological channel is testing, will you lock me down with a definite plan, or are you too afraid of rejection to lead? When she asks a favor, the surface question is about the task, but the biological question is, are you a man who can be led, or do you lead? Consider the classic scenario. You ask her where she wants to eat. She replies, "Oh, I don't care, you pick." The average man hears a request for a decision and begins a futile negotiation. How about Italian? Or maybe sushi?
What are you in the mood for?
He thinks he is being considerate. In reality, he is screaming on the biological channel, "I am directionless. I have no plan. My reality is so weak that I need yours to make a simple decision." You are answering her verbal question while catastrophically failing her biological one.
This is the fundamental error.
To gain an advantage, you must first learn to decode the signals. These tests are not random acts of chaos. They are predictable patterns, instinctual probes from her evolutionary software. Once you see the patterns, you can never unsee them.
This is your field guide.
First is the compliance test. This is the most common and subtle test. It arrives as a small, seemingly innocent request designed to see if you will break your own flow to serve hers. The classic example, "Can you hold my purse?" Or "Could you run over there and get me a napkin?" The surface-level man, the pleaser, sees a chance to be helpful and immediately complies. He fails. The biological question isn't, "Are you helpful?" It is your reality so fragile that I can pull you out of it at will? By dropping everything to fulfill her minor request, you signal that your agenda is subordinate to hers. You are a follower. Next is the disagreement test, also known as the shit test. This is a small verbal grenade tossed into the conversation to gauge your emotional resilience. It can be a playful jab, "I bet you say that to all the girls," a challenge to your opinion, "You actually like this music," or a mild insult, "That shirt is an interesting choice." The purpose is to see if her words can shake you. Do you get defensive?
Do you get angry?
Do you immediately backtrack on? Your opinion to gain her approval? Any reactive behavior is an instant failure. Her ancient survival software is scanning for a man who is an emotional rock, whose self-worth is internally generated, not externally validated by her. She needs to know that under pressure, you won't shatter. Then there is the jealousy test. She will casually introduce the ghost of competition to see if you flinch. This is done by mentioning an ex-boyfriend, "My ex loved this restaurant." A prominent male friend, "Oh, Mark and I were just talking about that." Or even a celebrity she finds attractive. The untrained man immediately becomes insecure. He might ask probing questions, get quiet and moody, or start subtly bragging to compete. He has failed. The test is designed to measure your status and your security in that status. A high-value man is unconcerned by other men, past or present. They are irrelevant data. Reacting with jealousy broadcasts on a primal frequency that you feel inferior, that you perceive the other man as a threat to your position. Finally, the flake test. This is a direct test of how you value your most precious resource, your time. She might be late for a date, cancel at the last minute, or respond to your text hours or days later. This isn't necessarily a sign of disrespect. It's a subconscious probe. The biological question is his life so empty that he will wait around for me? A man with a mission and a purpose has a high opportunity cost for his time. He will not tolerate it being wasted. The man who waits patiently, who double texts, who immediately reschedules at her whim, signals that his time has no value. He signals that he has nothing better to do than wait for her. He fails the test. Recognizing her tests is merely the diagnosis. Now, we begin the treatment. The secret to passing these tests is not found in a script you memorize, but in a complete recalibration of your internal reality. Frame is not something you do, it is something you are. You cannot fake it. Her nervous system, honed over millennia, will detect the fraud in an instant. The goal is to build a frame so solid that her tests bounce off it harmlessly. First, you must adopt the core emotional state, amused mastery. You must reconceptualize her tests. They are not an attack, they are a sign of her engagement. A woman who is not interested will not waste energy testing you. A test is a compliment wrapped in sandpaper. She is intrigued, and she is playing a game to see if you are a worthy opponent. The gravest error you can make is to take this game seriously. When she pokes you, she wants to see a calm, grounded man who smiles, unbothered by the little drama. Your internal monologue should shift from "oh no, she's challenging me," to "ah, this is fun. Let's play."
From this state of amused mastery, your tactics will flow naturally. Instead of reacting defensively, you will learn to deflect with humor and strength. One of the most powerful verbal techniques is to agree and amplify. When she lobs a disagreement test like, "I bet you say that to all the girls," the weak man denies it. "No, of course not." The man with frame agrees with her premise and exaggerates it to an absurd level. Only on Tuesdays, and only to the ones with impeccable taste. You barely made the cut. You have taken the power from her challenge by refusing to be affected by it. Similarly, you must learn to reframe, don't defend. When your opinion or choice is questioned, never justify yourself. Justification is a plea for approval. If she says, "That shirt is," a hug she says, "That shirt is." Like Lascelles was, and Lalez's of clothes, if she says, "That shirt is." Reframe it. A playful, confident response could be, "It takes a certain level of sophistication to appreciate it. Don't worry, we'll get you there." You haven't sought her approval. You have playfully positioned yourself as the arbiter of taste. Ultimately, these techniques are the branches of the tree. The roots, the unshakable foundation, is this: your mission is your anchor. A man whose life revolves around gaining the approval of a woman has no woman has no woman has no woman has no plaisel, has no what is no imbecile, there's no flat and less. A playful approval of a woman has no able or plebate. His reality is weak and parasitic. A man who is building a business, mastering a craft, pursuing a grand vision, his reality is powerful and self-contained. He is not easily pulled into her emotional storms because he is anchored to something far greater. His mission provides the ultimate center of gravity. Her tests become what they truly are, insignificant ripples on the surface of his deep ocean. Do not mistake this for a preference, for a preference, for a preference. This is for a preference. This is a reference. This is a preference. This religion last. The derision of latitudes of emotional stings. This religious preference for preference. This is the places is for preference. This is not a social trend or a matter of opinion. This is a fundamental law of sexual dynamics etched into the human nervous system. A woman cannot feel safe with, and therefore her body cannot become genuinely attracted to, a man whose reality is weaker than her own. It is a biological impossibility. Every time you fail one of her tests by becoming defensive, overly compliant, or emotionally reactive, you send a powerful signal directly to her ancient survival brain. The signal is this: under pressure, your world will collapse into hers. You are not a rock. You are sand. This is the ultimate biological red flag. The choice, therefore, is brutally simple, and there is no middle ground. You can learn the secret language of frame and become a source of masculine stability that is magnetically attractive on a primal level. Or you can ignore it, continue to operate on the surface level of logic and compliance, and be perpetually relegated to the one place desire can never grow, the friend zone. You will become a utility, not a temptation, a resource, not a reward. So you see, these tests are not a curse. They are not a curse. They are tests are not a curse. They 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 are become a utility, not a curse. They are not an obstacle to her attraction. They are the most direct map to it. Each test is a doorway, an invitation from her subconscious for you to reveal your true masculine core. She isn't trying to break you. She is hoping you won't break. She is subconsciously asking to see the real you, the man who stands firm in his own reality, unswayed by the chaos of her emotional world. When you can stand in that truth, you become a sanctuary for the sanctuary for attraction, for charming, without black, mental soldiers. Your way of charging oil on those glandules in the sanctuary for the build. The ultimate advantage, the final secret is this: the game is not about learning tricks to pass their tests. It is about becoming the man who doesn't even see them as tests anymore, but simply as a natural part of a playful interaction. The final mandate is to turn your focus inward. Stop seeking her approval and start building a life, a mission, a reality that you approve of. Build a frame so strong and a world so compelling that her so compelling that hers tail when it goes swaying, and placelings is stringenfell. A thousand million in Joe visibility, and buoys and morsators, and all the jubilant the teachers. So compelling, she will feel it before you say a word, and she will follow. Leave a comment below. I want to know which test you've seen the most.